know how we can tend to beat ourselves up? People from the outside are far nicer to us than we are to ourselves on the inside. Are most of your thoughts encouraging or discouraging? Do you focus more on what you want or what you don't want? Being mean to ourselves, talking down about our abilities, ideas, and focusing on what we don't want is kin to beating ourselves up. In this first segment of the Hypnotic Trip, you get to watch me as I beat myself up out on Browns Lake Trail, and then through a divine insight, quickly turn it around into a more loving voice. Remember this, negative thoughts are like ants, and when you get too close to the mound, you get the heck out of there or suffer those stinging bites. Here is today's lesson from the trails. It's called Have Mercy on Me. The story I began telling myself began at 5 a.m. as the alarm sounded. I'm not in my house, I forgot to get a glass of water, and Brian will be up in 15, so I better get to the bathroom. I really hate, yes, it's a strong word, but I really hate getting up early and being rushed out the door, especially in a strange house without any control. They are his friends, their car, and their hike. Gee, it's not a great way to start talking to yourself. Packs with rain gear and jackets line the wall near the garage door. Mine contains a GoPro, turkey jerky, potato chips, and 64 ounces of water. I'm all set. It's an hour and a half to the trailhead. I feel good physically, and I'm excited about hiking in a new spot. They said it's 4 miles to the trail and a fairly difficult trail. In Texas, though, we sit at 600 feet above sea level. The summit today is 11,400 feet. I can hike 10 miles in 100 degrees with no slowdown. But up that high, it turned out I was the slow poke, the caboose, the last one lagging 100 yards behind everyone else and short of breath. Very early on in the hike, I started to complain about myself to myself. Come on, you can hike faster. They're going to think you're out of shape or worse, hungover. I needed to be in better shape. I needed to justify why I needed to stop and catch my breath. No mercy. I am the caboose, I realized, with shame. Now I was treating myself the way I used to treat those walkers on the trail when I was a runner. A merciless runner. Get out of my way, I would say under my breath. This is a running track. It's a track field. A track for runners and sprinters, not for people walking slow or worse, your child in a stroller. I didn't want anyone to slow my pace. Even the weather. I would run, cursing the rain for slowing me down. This went on for about 8 years until I turned 50 and chilled a bit. I stopped running in the parks and became a trail runner. I was relentless there too, but not as mean, and never mean to myself. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Stopped my rant. I was reading the Sermon on the Mount by Emmett Fox, and the beatitude, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy, drifted into my consciousness. The law of life is to be merciful in your thoughts and to be congruent with your actions, Fox explains. One must have merciful thoughts and actions is my interpretation. Fox explains further, be free from all of the weight of our condemnation, and then it's possible to absolve yourself from self-condemnation. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, I whispered, to release myself from my observed situation. As I softened, I stopped and looked around at what was this beautiful moment. I was on a mountain in Comanche Peak Wilderness in Colorado. Browns Lake Trail group, 3 ahead of me, none back. The pedometer showed we'd gone 4 miles. I grumbled for most of it. Almost to Browns Lake now, and a flowering meadow surrounded me. The sun was shaded by clouds and the wind was low, and a light mist introduced us to the possibility of rain. It was dreamlike. So it was not the distance or the terrain or me being out of shape. It was the elevation that was slowing me. I heard people get sick or have headaches. I felt fine, other than I had a hard time breathing. Talking to my lungs, the loving voice on the return trip, I said, "Thank you, lungs, for filling me and supplying me with oxygen. I take in the full breath of life, and I feel oxygenated blood running through my whole body. I'm energetic, I'm happy, I'm alive." Didn't that sound better? My view was transformed. It became more colorful, sounds more harmonious. I was in the present and all senses were tuned in. And I enjoyed that 4-mile return hike with a new realization. It was wonderful to be the last one, to be the caboose whose job it was to send positive messages up ahead to all those other hikers, to have balance and stamina and to take in the full breath of life. It's okay to be slow. It was okay to be last. With no one behind me, I can stop when I want, and no one knows. When I was hiking and beating myself up, having no mercy, I was really in a trance. It was a negative form of hypnosis where you're caught in the loop and those negatives just keep turning around and around in your mind. Nature, maybe it was like stepping over one particular line or coming up onto the meadow, but it really broke my concentration, and it made me kind of step back. And so it was that pause where I could stand back and really evaluate. So in a hypnotic session with clients, they come in and they're talking about all the things that are wrong. Well, putting them in a hypnotic trance is that pause. So it gives them that break, they stop, and then they can focus on what they do want. So that is what happens naturally, spontaneously in nature all the time. We start on the trail, we're thinking about all the things we have to do, and then at some point, bliss happens. And so in a hypnotic session, you come in one frame of mind, and then in the session we shift it and you leave with that positive mindset. So here's the hypnotic hiker tip of the day. Take lots of water, even when it's cool outside. I drank 64 ounces of water on that 8-mile trip. Find a lightweight backpack like this one with a bladder and a hands-free drink valve so you can have water hands-free on the go. In our future show, I'll reveal what God showed me at Devil's Tower and how that message is so critical in these uncertain times. If you enjoyed this segment, comment and tell me what you liked about it. So that you see all 9 shows, please subscribe and also share this with your friends. This is the Hypnotic Hiker, taking you on some mind-blowing hypnotic trips. Visit ValerieGrimes.com to find out more about this virtual reality adventure trip.